two, one.
Hello, my name is Patrick Nshirungu. I'm a K plus student, and today I'm working on a project, College for America project in healthcare management. The project is called Government and You. It is mostly about the government, the United States government, policies and uh, government branches. So I will be discussing the four main questions that were asked, but I also have interviewed some people on the street, so I will be incorporating as well those short notes of them. So, starting with the first question, it states that what are the three branches of government in the United States? So, as you can see, I had to record one street interview for this question. Let's hear what this person said. Shall I interview for some questions regarding the US government? Yeah, for America. So I'm going to interview academic purpose. And okay, is there any question? Okay. The first question is, what are the three branches of government of the United States?
Okay, three branches of the government is branch, is executive branch, and I don't remember the branch.
It's fine. Uh, Thank you for the answer. The second question is, what does each branch do as of those you just mentioned?
Okay, I mentioned executive branch. Yes.
Yeah.
This is the branch which executes the law, means the laws that are made by other branches are meant by the executive branch. Is the one which makes the laws.
Uh, as you can see, this person started responded to the questions and they mentioned only two branches of the government, which is legislative and judicial. So basically, there are three. There is legislative, judicial, and executive. So one wonders what is the role for each. The legislative is mainly about the creation of the law, consists of the constitution and the creation of the laws. It puts the laws. So the judicial concerns the rights of the population and the use of the laws, while for the executive, it is about the implementation of the laws created by the constitution. So continue down with, if you can see this image shows the constitution, shows the legislative, the executive, and the judicial branch. While for the legislative, it shows the Congress, House of Representatives, Senate. While for the executive, there is president and vice president and other members. While for the judicial, it's about the Supreme Court. Yeah. So moving with for the third question, the states what does each branch do? As we just heard from this interview, the legislative is mainly concerned with the government and the way it enacts legislation, confirms and rejects presidential, and has the authority to declare a war. For the legislative, as it is about the constitution, sometimes they can even oppose the president once the point mentioned is not, yeah, good. Then from there, they base on the data and the main information they might be having to make sure they are concrete. For the judicial, this branch is interpreting the meaning of the laws applies to individual cases as well as deciding if laws does not violate the constitutions or the human rights are not violated. It's about the Supreme Court as mentioned above. For the executive, this for the president and the branch government that carries out and enforces the laws. So we will move on to the another question, which states that Democrats and Republicans are the main major parties. That can you name a third party? But before we move actually to this question, what would be the interaction or the way these three branches act together? The legislative consists of knowing the constitution and what, while for the judicial, the legislative passes the constitution, the laws, and the judicial branch tries to see if there is no mismatch with the rights of people, while for the executive it also seeks to enforces the laws. Okay, moving to the fourth question, which is Democrats and Republicans are the major parties. Can you name a third party? So let's hear what the another interviewee said. Then we can proceed from there.
Legislative, I can't go into a normal fight yet.
That's right. So the third question is Democrats and Republicans are the major parties, as we all know. Yeah? So can you name another party?
Okay, there is another one called the Green Party, but I don't know. There's no problem that people know its functions. I don't know. The Green Party one. I don't know.
Okay, from this interviewee who is called Moses, he just mentioned that there is only the Green Party. So there are other parties that are not like well known in the United States. Democrats and Republicans are the major ones, and also there is this one of libertarians and the Green Party. So one wonders, how did these major parties start? How did they begin? According to Candela Open Courses, the main political parties in the United States are Democrat and Republicans as well. The Democratic Party was formed in 1792 when supporters of Thomas Jefferson began using the name Republican as Jeffersonian Republicans to emphasize its aristocratic policies. It adopted its present name during the presidency of Andrew Jackson in the 1830s. While for the Republican, the first still formed a platform and nominated candidates under the name Republican was held Jackson, Michigan in 1854. Uh, as we've seen, what impact do other minor parties have now on the national politics? The third party candidate rarely win election in America campaigns. Third party candidates can shift national attention to particular issues. That will be the main work for this. So we'll move to another question, which is what is the basic process by which a bill becomes a law? Let's first hear from what the interviewee responded, then we can continue also from there. What is the basic process by which a bill becomes a law?
Yes, a bill can become a law. Let's say the parliament members are there. If one gives an idea based on the votes, how they voted. Now, based on the vote, the score of the votes, it can be.
Uh, uh, so after understanding how the interview said on the process by which a bill becomes a law, here there is an explanation with some details that will help understand this process. The bill starts as an idea and it is passed to both House and Senate who refines the bill. So the bill might be either introduced by the people or by a member of state or the House. Uh, it must also begin in the House or in the Senate and be presented to both House and Senate. The bill then is referred to as a committee. So one wonders who sponsors the bill. A sponsor of the bill is the first member of the House or Senate who is introduced among the lawmakers to be taken as in consideration. The committee has much work to do on the bill, including preparing meetings, understanding point of views from people, so trying to collect some feedback from the people about the bill. Then also the bill might pass or it might fail. So let's see the process by which a bill gets to pass or it fails. Later on, there will be a preparation of meeting. Then both House and Senate will vote for the bill. So there will be the debates about the bill. Then later on, they will conclude whether depending on the votes, then it will go directly to the president. The president has to sign or veto for the bill. If the president denies, then the bill is returned back in the uh, House and the Senate for both House and the Senate. They might vote again for two of the third, or the bill might be the bill might die. That's also there are also a lot of some bills that get denied, then we die as that. So here, this video will continue with the checks and balances. Before we've talked about the three branches of the government, mainly legislative, executive, and judiciary. So one wonders how do those three branches that have power also kind of separate? How do they share the power and also divide the power? The US Constitution outlines the three main branches, namely legislative, executive, and judicial. The executive one is headed by the president. The legislative is made of by Congress, while the judicial is about the Supreme Court. So, as said, all three branches share the power, even though it might be seen as they are separate. This means that each branch can check others' branch action and make a balance of its own actions with relation to the other branches. For example, legislative, which is led by the president, which is led by the Congress, oversees the bureaucracy of the executive branch. If, for example, the president has taken a decision that is not fair, then the legislative branch, which is made by the Congress, they might deny this decision taken by the president. So the president also, on the other side, nominates federal judges, even if the judicial branch can find some unconstitutional laws that were made by legislative branch. So sometimes, if legislative branch also decide on some laws, then the judicial might see unconditional or unfair laws to the population. Hence, they will need to take a balance of their work, then take into consideration with other branch activity and work, so as to complement each other. Uh, so continuing with, as we've talked about, there are mainly two big parties. So there is also the third party, and one wonders what is the role for this third party in the elections. Even though in the politics of the United States is ruled by two-party system, sometimes the third party has influence on the elections, since sometimes the party system system obtain the elected option positions. The third party rarely win election, but can shift the national attention to particular issues that the elected president needs to solve. This means if there were some uh, issues that were not considered during the elections campaigns. So the third party sometimes they point out those. Then the candidates from both big parties, Democrats and Republicans, will start mentioning those in their campaigns. Hence, that is their big influence. Also, the third party can influence election outcomes by taking the votes from one major party to another. This means if there is a candidate trying to get votes from the population, then the third party will consider the plans that a certain candidate is having and is trying to explain to the population. Then the third party will point out their point of views. Then sometimes it might take some portion of votes from one candidate to another, hence leading to the outcomes out of the elections. So thank you very much for your kind attention. And here there is the reference list that were used when preparing for this video. I hope this will be very helpful. Have a nice day.